Alrighty there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the games. My name is Extreme Man, joined here by Tiger for the finals. This is game 3 of the Tier Monster Challenger Cup, sponsored by hi-rez Studios and all those fun little sponsors. So let's go into the picks and bans here.
Yep, already we're seeing a Raijin banned out, so no glass cannon once again, and risky behavior banning out the Giannis. It's worked well for both teams that have used it, but they're going to go ahead and take it off the table. Aces banning out the Athena, and risky behavior saying no Alquang.
Yep, and it looks like Team Aces is going to pick up a Susano here, so this is going to be the first time we're going to see Susano in this game, so that'll be very interesting, but what do you think of Susano so far?
I'm kind of mixed feelings because I don't like playing against him, but it's nice when you have one on your team because he's so powerful. His movement abilities are fantastic. He's able to get around, zip around, pull people towards him. It's crazy. And risky behavior drafting that Scylla and the Khepri. And Ace is grabbing that Kumbhakarna. I would have liked to see them switch. That way we can get a Kumbhakarna into some Scylla ultimates, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still pretty fine with the Khepri. The whole revive thing going pretty well. Alquang is banned, so there's no real. You could go Athantos on the side of Team Aces to really counter that Khepri pick, but instead, I don't know. We'll see kind of what Team Aces decides to go with their jungler here in the later stages of this drafting phase.
I like the Apollo pick because Ace is already, I mean, maybe with the exception of Kumbhakarna, Susano can get around basically anywhere very quickly. It's part of his passive. When something's on cooldown, he moves quicker. And Apollo, he can get around with his ultimate. So it's a global presence, at least so far, with the Apollo for Aces. And risky behavior picking up Serqet once again. So yeah, I like both drafts so far. I would have changed a couple of things, but we'll
I
have to see.
I think Grishank's Serqet was phenomenal that last game. He really was doing work. He just get all kinds of damage to everywhere. He was just doing absolutely phenomenal, and so I like to, I like it. I want to see more of it. So we will be seeing that in this next game.
Couple of bans still coming out. Risky behavior, getting rid of Soul and Isis, so limiting that mid lane, whereas Aces are kind of putting their focus more on the solo lane with a Wanyu and a Bellona. We haven't actually had a Bellona get through this entire day, any match that we've been able to stream.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting. Bellona has, I don't know, like I honestly wouldn't consider Bellona that high of a priority pick. I prefer Tier. This is my personal preference, but yeah, I mean, I guess Bellona. I mean, if you want to ban out Bellona, do it. It's certainly never a bad solo laner.
Yeah, and then you have the Scourge, so if you have some attack, if you have some auto attack gods, even an ADC or like a Kronos, if you have something or a Soul that you don't want, that you need your auto attacks for, Scourge is definitely a good thing to get rid of. Either way, if you don't want to go against it, you don't want to go against it. Team Aces finishing off their roster with a Ra and a Cabrakan, two very odd picks. We see Cabrakan a lot in SPL, Cabrakan jungle, Cabrakan support, whatever it may be, but not a lot of Raw.
Yeah, I mean, Ra is very safe as a god. He will be able to clear the wave from pretty far. One ability, he's a generally safe god and pretty straightforward to use. You could get some pretty interesting combos here with like the Ra Kumbhakarna as long as you trust your support pretty well. Uh, yeah, and Cabrakan, that's gonna be an interesting soul laner, especially versus an Odin. Odin will be interesting to see. I mean, we've seen Cabrakan used a couple times in the SPL. He's got a lot of potential on him. He does have a lot of damage as well, but I'm just not sure how this whole thing will go. Cabrakan's certainly gonna take a lot of poke from Odin, especially Bird Bomb and all that stuff. Cabrakan takes a long time to clear a wave.
I guess I don't understand why we keep using Odin when we haven't really seen him excel in these games. Like, one game I think last game he was banned out. I don't really understand it. I guess risky behavior just like using it, but it's not something that I understand. However, I do like that we're gonna have the mid lane between the Scylla and that Serqet. I like having that little mid lane cohesion between risky behavior. They didn't have it as good in their first set. Second set they did fantastic, but having that Serqet against probably that Raw. I don't see them drafting Raw jungle there. So probably against Raw with no mobility, Serqet's gonna have a field day.
That is true, certainly.
If he clears from far away, if he gets up in there, then that's
Yeah.
different. But Raw's gonna have to be careful.
Yeah, especially as well from Odin actually might be a really good pick in this instance because you do have that healing from Raw. You have, the fact that Odin can just kind of jump in and really shut down Raw. He doesn't have any movement abilities, he's just able to clear from afar. So, while Raw will do well, but he can be pretty easily shut down by Odin.
I didn't even think about that, but that's actually pretty smart. I didn't even think about that anti-heal in the Odin cage.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely a big thing, but we will be getting into game here shortly. Stay tuned, folks. This is the Challenger Cup. This is Game 3 of the Challenger Cup of the finals to see who will win first seed. Risky Behavior versus Team Aces. We'll be right back after a short break. Please check out our sponsors, Tier Monster, Discord, and of course Allied Studios and hi-rez Studios. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back. Alrighty there, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. This is Game 3 of the finals. Team Aces versus Risky Behaviors. This is the North American Challenger Cup Week 2. Team Aces and Risky Behavior fighting for that first seed spot and the first seed points. On the left-hand side of your spectator eye, we have Team Aces, Zekra 40 UI, taking Cabrakan to the solo lane, Mirage, with that Susano jungle. First time we've seen Susano today. Man Ray taking Raw to the mid lane. Kumbhakarna on Dingodile, on Kumbhakarna, and Ghost Creeper running out that dual lane with that Apollo.
And on the right side of your spectator UI, the boys in red trunks, risky behavior, Mango on that Odin in the solo lane, Vinny U on Scylla in the mid lane, Grishank running around into the jungle on that Serqet, Trueblade on Khepri as the support, and Giliara on Huyi once again as the ADC.
Yep, and right now we're seeing nothing too out of the ordinary here. Venue, of course, going a pot on that Scylla, and Man Ray clearing that out pretty nice and safely. Does have that heal online, and now Man Ray again looking to take these right side mid camps. Of course, the other ones were taken by Grishank and Mango on that the little unusual start that they're doing. Mirage and Man Ray were able to successfully secure that. The Susano clear is pretty strong. So
yeah, Crush taking a lot of damage onto Mirage. He is able to go ahead and get that back up, but kind of a testament to just how powerful Scylla is with that power pot. So very smart of Man Ray to start clearing from that backline, even throwing down that heal to clean up the last couple of minions there. So even start, Team Aces pulling forward just a little bit, and very curious to see Mirage on the Susano throughout the entire game.
Yeah, definitely. We saw, like I said, Susano mid in the in the Challenger Cup yesterday, and it worked out actually pretty well. They were able to get first blood and kind of snowball the game a little bit from there, but Susano has been a very weirdly contested pick. He does all kinds of damage, but it's still kind of in testing. A lot of people really don't know, exactly the full potential of his kit, where he goes, how highly is he rated. So it's still very unclear as to how he's good. A lot of people still very much like him, though.
Yeah, in casual games, he's considered incredibly OP and a very terrifying presence. However, in these higher level games, especially when you have teams that are this even, I kind of feel like as long as you know how to counter him, he's still pretty nasty to deal with, but definitely not the terrifying presence that he's being made out to be. And partially that's because we haven't been able to see him because he has been banned out. Now, Giliara taking a good bit of poke, but going to be able to dash away. Ghost Creeper getting a couple of shots in as the Apollo No big deal, however. Back in the mid lane, still a little far deep, trying to get a little bit of damage on a Mirage. Going to be able to teleport to her with the Storm Cloud and completely dodge the Crush.
Yeah.
Fantastic play.
The power of Susano, he's incredibly mobile, so you can do all kinds of things. You're moving around all over the place. Dingo Dial already heading to mid lane. Clear up some, get a little XP. Ooh, but Grishank here, he's getting locked down pretty hard in Man Ray. Man Ray does have to use that Sanctuary, but Mirage cleans up Grishank. Lots of damage going to Venue. Venue getting pretty low, but that ultimate goes on to True Blade. Venue is safe for now. 1-0 in favor of Team Aces in the early game.
Yeah, that was, I'm not sure if that was an intentional lazy back or if they were really trying to make that a bait. Either way, Team Aces were able to turn it into their favor right after Serqet dived relatively deep. So, nothing that risky behavior might not be able to bring back onto the table. But so far, Serqet going to be giving away that first blood to Aces.
Yeah, that first blood going on to Susano is really not a good look. Susano, very powerful, and generally you kind of don't... The other team doesn't want your jungler taking first blood, because that first blood can really start to kickstart the rest of the game, and especially as well, Serqet losing her power pot. Well, she didn't have much time in it left. She really didn't use it, and it just kind of was wasted here. Mirage may be looking to grab Mango here, but looks like they're just going to clear the wave instead. Mirage sitting at level 6, Zekra 40 UI at level 7. Meanwhile, Mango a little ahead at level 8, but that's kind of to be expected. The first couple of waves did go in favor of him. But
Mango knows better. Mango knows there's a Susano on the map now. The last thing he wants to do is get caught out by that. So we're seeing frequent rotations, A, to check on these fire imps, and B, to head back towards that mana camp, especially when he knew that gank was coming. So I really think risky behavior are a bit more prepared than we're giving them credit for. But they're going to finally take this speed camp for their own. Grishank going to take that for herself on the Serqet, and then jump right back into mid lane where Man Ray is still playing it incredibly safe from the depths of his own tower.
Yeah, I mean, Raw just can kind of do that. He stays back, clears from his own tower. Doesn't have to worry too much. A little bit of an engagement going on in the dual lane. We do have a Serqet who's ready to gank, but not quite willing. She has pinged out, so, they have knowledge of Serqet. They're not too worried about it. Ghost Creeper is staying pretty far back. And again, kind of a slow burn this game. There was that early first blood going on to Mirage, but other than that, we haven't seen much action.
No, but risky behavior are playing relatively safe, and since Scylla is going up against a Ra in the mid lane, that gives you ample amount of time to go ahead and back. You know it's safe because Ra doesn't want to come out of his tower right now until he's sure that his abilities are going to go ahead and clear that wave. The only reason he's doing it now is because Mirage and Dingo Dial are here, so even if True Blade wanted to try some funny business, it's not going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and right now everyone's just kind of wandering around looking for some kind of objective. There's not a lot left on the map, maybe a mid camp, and now people are kind of grouping around this Gold Fury, just taunting, no one's really taking a hard engagement. Ooh, but Khepri here maybe caught a little bit out of position, caught between the Susano and the Kumbhakarna, but instead Susano just decides to dash out, and looks like it's going to be for naught.
Yep, still waiting on some action in this game. Both teams playing it, as mentioned, incredibly safe due to the fact this is the last match. Winner of this will get the title and the points for this week, and those definitely come in handy when we go into the last couple of weeks standing for the Challengers Cup. So neither team wants to blow it. Aces have taken a very decisive game. Risky Behavior has taken a very decisive game. So at this point, it kind of just depends on which team wants to show up.
Oh yeah, definitely. But right now, again, Kumbhakarna here with a little bit of a sneaky situation here. Getting a lot of damage on the True Blade, but True Blade healing up pretty well with that meditation. Dingo Dial uses the ultimate. Raw ultimate a little off the mark, but still True Blade taking a lot of damage in the backline. The Grishank is putting all kinds of damage on the Man Ray. Man Ray sitting pretty low. Still ultimate a little off the mark, not able to connect. Grishank, though, is pretty low as well. He's going to dash away. And still pretty deep. Diving is Giliara, trying to find the damage on the Mirage, but not able to connect. Mid camps are now going to go in favor of Risky Behavior. It's just going to be a complete disengage.
Yep, Mirage on that Susano getting away by the skin of his teeth, and risky behavior, not really able to capitalize on any of the lower health members of Team Aces. Instead, Man Ray is going to be able to heal up Dingo Dow and himself, as well as the creep, before they start their onslaught onto the tower. And yeah, we're just waiting for the action. Still waiting. 8 minutes and 6 seconds into the game. Grabs are pretty much dead even. Gold's a little bit up in favor of Aces, and risky behavior actually up a little bit when it comes to the experience, but not by much at all, and these numbers really don't mean anything until later on.
Mirage getting a little bit of a gank onto that Odin, but not really too much damage coming out. It's just going to be going in with the Zekra 40 UI and clean up this camp for himself, so, provide it nice and safe. Mirage still here, though. He's going to share a little bit of XP. Interesting to note, so Serqet, with that second item that she's bought, is going into a breastplate of valor, probably. I mean, that's a little unusual, don't you think?
A little bit. Probably just to help bolster up to the defenses. You don't want to mess with that Susano, which more than likely is something she's going to have to tangle with later on in the game. And Ghost Creeper as well with those auto attacks. Don't want to mess with the Apollo for sure. Looks like we're starting to look over at the Gold Fury. Team Ace is just checking up on it. Risky behavior probably want it. Just by going by their previous games, they've been very objective oriented when they can grab it and when they're up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. I think the breastplate of valor is definitely a bit of an incorrect choice here. There's actually 3 mages on the side of Team Aces and 3 people who will be building, fairly tanky, but also magical. You have the Raw, you have the Cabrakan as well, who's magical.
One second, hold on. Risky behavior starting up this Gold Fury. Ghost Creeper's the only one here for it, but we're probably going to get a fight out of it. Ghost Creeper dashing in, getting a 2-man mez, but the 9 Suns are coming down, and Susano throwing down his ult. Cabrakan going to get Grishank off of the menu, and that's going to be another kill up for Aces. They stopped the Gold Fury, they got a kill, and now, if another fight pans out, that could be the Gold Fury for themselves as well.
Yep. Zekra 40 UI getting some damage onto Mango, but he is rooted out by True Blade, just throwing down those the Cabrakan damage, and now True Blade caught in. Ranray erases True Blade. All kinds of damage coming out. Scylla ultimate a little off the mark, not able to connect with anyone. Mango going up into the air from that Kumbhakarna ultimate. He's going to be dropped down right into that Cabrakan. Now Man Ray diving a little bit, trying to find someone, but Gilliard just poking down Dingo Dial. Now pulled in by Mirage. He's going to jump away. And now everyone on the side of Team Aces is sitting a little low. Oh, but Grishank has arrived, maybe looking for that kill again on Dingo Dial. Dingo Dial dashes away, and no one's going to get the Gold Fury now, but Team Aces will get a couple kills.
Yep, get a couple of kills. Are now 1 kill up from earlier on at that Gold Fury. Still able to capitalize on it, and they actually did not lose Dingo Dial because of that Kumbhakarna passive. But if he does fall until that passive resets, he's going to be an instant kill instead of giving his teammates a little bit more time to buy that up. Now, I'm kind of worried about the ADC matchup because once again we have a Hu Yi and an Apollo, similar builds for the most part, probably building into an Ichaival. No, not Ichaival. My bad. No, not Ichaival. Probably Ichaival on the Hu Yi, and we're building an Aussie early lifesteal on the Apollo. So I'm worried that even though we have the Crow's Mark and the Ricochet from Hu Yi, if Ghost Creeper can out-sustain as we've seen him earlier on in previous games, then it's going to be a harder matchup for the Hu Yi, even though I feel he has a superior god.
Yeah, 1v1 boxing-wise, I think Ghost Creeper will take it, just purely with the Apollo passive as well as the Aussie, so that's my kind of personal opinion about the duo. But now there's a 3-man grouping right around these mid-camps. Venue is rooted out. Both are mezzed, and now it's just going to be disengaged as they do take the mid-camps.
Yep, mid-camps are going to go ahead and go down. And once again, we have this popular 3v3 matchup in the mid lane that we've seen. But once again, we're still waiting. These whole game matchups have been waiting and aces and risky behavior have too much on the line to really throw it on a play. So we're still kind of watching and waiting. That's all we can really say.
Yep. Sector 40 UI stunning out Mango in place of the Grishank, who just barely escaped with his life. Now gonna return a little bit. Dingo Dial maybe caught a bit out of position there. Kumbhakarna ultimate does go off. True Blade does get the kill onto Dingo Dial. Now he's gonna go down, and that's what happens when you don't have your Cabrakan passive up, folks. Or not Cabrakan,
Yep.
Kumbhakarna.
And risky behavior finally going to put themselves on the board. It's a little bit of a breath of fresh air for the red team, more than likely, as the graphs are pretty much the same at this point. That one kill was what they needed, as their farm game is pretty strong. Aces are up still 2 kills, but you can't tell it in the graphs.
Ooh, Mirage getting a good bit of damage on the Mango, but he is now trapped in the cage. Mango just gonna disengage and let Mirage just sit there for a little bit, take a timeout.
Mango was a tasty target. We had Cabrakan chasing him, we had Mirage trying to get him, but at this point, all sides are turned to the Gold Fury. Team Aces were stole it with the raw snipe, and now at this point, they're just going to try and get away and lick their own wounds. True Blade in a bad spot, going to activate the ultimate and get away. Cabrakan ult actually not working in their favor at this point, but Grishank incredibly low. Dingadal going to get that last kill, and Mango just trying to get out of these trimmers at this point.
Oof.
Man Ray gonna finish off the Odin, and Vinyu coming over with the Scylla ultimate, not gonna finish off anyone, so not gonna have that second opportunity. Giliara trying to box with Ghost Creeper, and everybody heals off a Ra.
Yep. Zekra 40 UI perfectly predicting where Vinyu is gonna be, but the purification is popped in time, and now risky behavior. They gotta back it off. They're certainly playing very afraid. They're going to have to give up this tier 1 tower. I don't think they can test with 5 man versus 3. Now, Team Ace is really showing up after that team fight.
We saw Scylla throw out the crush, and I feel like that would have been a little bit more of a better play if she activated it immediately, because everybody was standing in it, but because it was sitting down there long enough, yeah, it's going to do more damage, but it's not going to mean anything if nobody's standing in it. So Ace is going to go ahead and go back, clear out their own jungle, and maybe even go up forward later on and try to clear out risky behavior's jungle. So far, graphs starting to really tip in Ace's favor with that Gold Fury and all those kills. 5,000 experience and over 3,500 gold.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see just how it's sort of tipping in Team Ace's favor. Look at the build on Serqet. Shows she did go into the Breastplate of Valor, and now she's going into probably a Winged Blade. That is not the build you want on a Serqet. That is definitely the I'm playing afraid, I'm playing back, I do not want to fight here. It's just not a good build on Serqet.
I might have misspoken earlier. I'm not sure. It used to be if you waited longer, the crush did more damage. That might be different. Extreme, do you know if the actual answer to that?
I think it might have something to do with more pen. I'm not 100. I think it's pen, not damage, but I'm not 100% sure.
Either way, it wasn't able to do any damage onto anyone because nobody was standing in it. I was sitting here wondering to myself as we're watching this game unfold, so might as well have one other thing to talk about. I can admit my mistakes. Vinyu clearing out creep relatively quickly at this point. Level 14 Scylla doesn't have anything to worry about and can kind of blink at those creeps and they're gone.
I mean, level 14, you got your build started to come online. Good bit of damage coming out. It looks like it's going to be building into a Book of Toth as well. But Man Ray does, with that first item, Book of Toth build, he did get those 75 stacks all online really quickly, and it's going to take a lot of time for Scylla to build that up.
Indeed. Mango, still a tasty target. We see a lot of Dingodile and Mirage rotating over here, but haven't really been able to pin him down. And it's not looking good for Mirage right now. He's level 14, where Solo Island has gotten Mango up to level 16. He's trying to get a little bit of damage, but now Grishank's coming in, gonna get the poison on him, and Mango coming down with the Bird Bomb. Now Mirage kind of stuck between the wall at this point and stuck inside of the cage, taking a lot of damage, but now we have Cabrakan here to attempt to save it. Vinny, you're going to be able to take him down, and then, you know, we have Mango stuck in the tremors as well. Vinny not going to be able to finish off anyone with the second I'm a Monster, and Mango jump into safety while Ghost Creeper looks for Vinny in the backline with the ultimate, but Sanctuary has been popped, and you're not going to want to chase down that far. Man Ray trying with the Raw Snipe, but it's not going to connect. 9 Suns are down to try and zone him out, and that's a disengage.
Man Ray a little bit off the mark with that ultimate, not able to connect onto anyone. He split the difference. He was right between the two, so I mean I can't blame him. I don't think he could actually see where they're going, but
yeah, it's the effort and thought that counts at this point. Trueblade taking a little bit of poke, but looks like they're gonna go ahead and disperse, as I don't really see this team fight going in Risky Behavior's way, although they're the ones that seem to be trying to pinch. Grishank and Vinyu going to be able to find Dingodile and Ghost Creeper, but Ghost Creeper going to be able to get out of the way. Now, that really could have went in Risky Behavior's favor, but they didn't continue with that pinch.
Yeah. I think Risky Behaviors do know that, Team Aces is still a little ahead. They still got some XP and items on them, so I think they're going to play it back, wait for the more solid picks coming out.
Instead, we're going to go ahead and go back, finish out this damage camp, and now the next point of contention is going to be the Gold Fury, as it is just about to come up. Nobody's really near it right now. I don't think anybody wants to solo it just yet, but with 3 members in the mid lane rotating to the left, I can only assume that we're about to have a fight, or at least a bait at the Gold Fury. Yeah,
Team Ace is going really quickly for this Gold Fury. Scylla is backing right now. Trueblade did spot it out, and it looks like they are going to collapse on the Trueblade. Giliar is here as well. They're going to put a good bit of damage on the Trueblade. He's going to go down, he's going to go up into his ultimate. Raw Snipe a little off the mark. Dingodile does clean up Trueblade there. Lots of damage goes out from that, from the Huyi ultimate. And now Team Ace is going to clean up this Gold Fury for basically free.
Completely free. Giliar are the only one anywhere nearby. The 9 Suns have already been used as a zoning and massive damage tool, so not going to be able to steal it with that. Team Aces continuing to turn this into their favor, even though it dipped a little bit. We're still 5,000 experience in the lead for Aces and almost 4,500 in favor with the gold. Now it looks like Grishank's going to get caught out trying to steal this buff here. Going to ult onto Dingodile, but going to be eradicated by the Cabrakan.
Yeah, Dingodile was definitely not the target that Grishank was going to be looking for there. He was trying to find someone else with a little less HP, but well, you found the tankiest target in the mix, so unfortunate. They're just going to back it off right now. Grishank's sitting pretty far behind now. He's level 13 compared to Mirage on that level 16 Susano. That's, definitely not a good start for a Serqet. As now Kumbhakarna is going in. Venue does use his ultimate just to ensure that, he escapes fine. Still ultimate a little off the mark, but it was just more of an escape tool more than any kind of damage.
Indeed. And if you CC immune, nothing can really happen to you at that point. You don't want to get caught out. And even though Trueblade was there, that's the last thing you want to do, because they're already behind in experience. There are a couple of members that are already 3 and behind. Zekro going to be able to get that ultimate down and trap Trueblade into the Tremors. He's going to activate that ultimate onto himself, but he really wasn't in any danger of getting eradicated that quickly. So instead, ultimate going to be wasted, although he does get out of it. But now we have this rotation over to the left lane. Giliar is the only one to help defend against this tower.
It looks like the rest of Risky Behavior is going to be collapsing here in a few minutes, but it's still going to take him some time to get over here. They're going to clean up this tower for relatively free as Team Aces, and now everyone's just kind of backing off. This is a 5-man grouping, and I think very much so that Risky Behavior is still a little afraid, as Scylla is pushing down the mid lane, trying to counter push in response. Pretty smart, trading 1-for-1 tier 2 towers, or tier 1 towers.
Yeah, they're still keeping themselves relevant, even though they can't necessarily stop the Team Aces train at this point. Risky Behavior going to be able to take their own buff as Team Aces start to head back, but they're going to be able to take this mid Harpy and Mango. Just going to watch at this point. That's all they really can do until these actual team fights start to unfold once again. Now Mirage over with Grishank, it could be a 1v1 jungler situation, but I don't think Grishank would have wanted to, because you're 3 levels down from the Susano.
Yeah, Grishank 3 levels down, and he has no damage on them right now. He has the Breastplate of Valor, and Pen Boots, and the Wing Blade. Like, that's not going to be nearly enough damage as Serqet. You want to be building into crit. And Susano has, well, all kinds of damage. He does have the Jotun's Wrath, Breastplate of Valor. You have enough damage as Susano in that build right now, and especially the fact that you're 3 levels up. Yeah, it's no contest.
So I'm still failing to see the Odin is coming into play. Yeah, sure, the cages are nice, but we haven't really seen a lot of fantastic Odin plays, or I haven't seen a play where I'm like, you know what, that Odin was pinnacle for that particular moment. The only thing I can really see is just using him as a walking ultimate, like some people use Chang'e. He hasn't really gotten a lot of damage out either. He's on the lower end with only 5,996, whereas Scylla topping the charts with 12,000.
Yeah. Grishank now just hitting level 14. He's been level 13 for a little while, so finally hitting that level 14 mark, getting his full abilities maxed. This is not gonna be fun. There's a little boxing duel going on in the right hand side. Zekker40UI and Mango just trading blows. But it looks like Cabrakan's just gonna run away for now.
Now Ghost Creeper was stuck between Giliara and Grishank. Dingodile was thankfully there as soon as he got back to deter anybody from following up. But we're starting to see risky behavior kind of catch people when they're off guard. That was almost a kill. And, risky behavior is still showing that they're still in it. Maybe they need to, probably grouping harder. That way they're not caught out of position as much, because they're going to have more than one person there. But with risky behavior heading towards the right and Gold Fury about to come up, I'm not necessarily sure what their plan is.
Mm-hmm. Team Ace is just kind of wandering around the map right now, just trying to find some kind of pick. Zekker40UI now just cleaning up some creeps and soloing, and a 3-man grouping coming out in mid. Maybe looking to find a collapse onto someone, but now they're just clearing it out and playing it safe. No one's really taking anything too seriously. Ghost Creeper is going to start up the Gold Fury, though.
I mean, if I were risky behavior, I'd be all over these objectives. Show you regression, make sure they aren't able to take it. We have Zekker jumping in with the blink, going to be able to stun out Vinyu, but that is an ultimate from Khepri. Tremors going to be able to lock Trueblade in for a moment while Cabrakan ults, but not going to be enough to finish anybody off as Mango jumps in. Not going to take a lot of damage off the Cabrakan. Now Ghost Creeper is up in the air in the Apollo ult, trying to find a place to come down, probably onto this nice pack up here. We have the 9 Suns coming down, but Ghost Creeper going to finish off Giliara, and Trueblade going to be on the retreating end. Now Vinyu tried to activate the ultimate, wasn't able to find anyone, and will fall, and Mirage taking out Grishank, but it is a revenge kill with the damage over time, as Mirage is going to fall, but so will this tower.
Yep, the tower, and I expect the Gold Fury as well. Team Aces will probably head straight over there after this tower is done. They're going to back off for now, though. Mango, he's here. He's definitely a little scary. Ghost Creeper and Dingodile are just going to run away. Actually, they're heading towards the Fire Giant. This might be the correct call here.
Oh, there's 3 members of risky behavior down. The only one here is Mango and Trueblade. Trueblade doesn't really have the kit to be able to easily steal this Fire Giant unless he just throws out a damage over time. But, we might see it. Who knows? Fire Giant has been, Fire Giant's about to go down. Aces are going to secure it for themselves, and Mango on the receiving end of a lot of pain, going to go ahead and disengage, while Team Aces are looking for Trueblade before they start their onslaught of the rest of the jungle.
Yep, just collapsing straight onto Trueblade now, and everyone's heading back to base, going to grab themselves some items, finish up those last couple things in their build. Yeah, I mean, this Cabrakan pick has really worked out well, and looks like Team Aces are going to go back over and start the Gold Fury. I was right, it just took a little longer than I anticipated.
No worries, Ghost Creeper, Man Ray, and Dingodile are definitely enough to go ahead and take out the Gold Fury, get that extra gold in their coffers, go back. Experience and gold difference have now jumped 10,000 in favor of Team Aces, and 8,000 almost gold in favor of the boys in blue as well. At this point, risky behavior. What do risky behavior need to do right now to try and get back in the game?
They need to be looking for these fights under the Phoenix. So maybe back it off a little bit, give up your tier 2 towers. I mean, it's fine. I'm sure you can get them back later. Or not. But you can at least trade them out, and maybe you want to be looking for fights under Phoenixes, because they're still so far behind your itemized. I mean, Giliara is an item down on Ghost Creeper. Dingodile he's full build, or he's almost full build. He just sold his Watchers.
Man Ray taking a lot of damage out of Grishake. There's a 5-level difference there. Almost brought him down to half.
Yeah, it's a little disgusting. Susano's been pretty fed and got a pretty high damaging build with the double pen online. Actually, triple if you count Void Shield, but Void Shield's kind of not really pen. It's whatever, but still, this group of almost level 20s is caught out here. Trueblade just standing in the middle. He gets ulted and he ults himself. He just gets destroyed by Man Ray. All kinds of damage coming out.
As soon as he comes back, that raw ultimate was amazing. Now Mango in a very bad spot, incredibly low, going to be able to jump to safety. Dingodile not going to go that deep to try and finish him off, but Giliar forced to jump away in the dive bomb to try and get out of Ghost Creep. And beautiful ultimate coming out from Scylla. The purification from Ghost Creeper was good, but it was not enough to save Man Ray. So now Dingodile and crew are on the back end of the Phoenix, not really wanting to take that Phoenix damage as they just lost Man Ray in that fight, and Mirage isn't really going to be able to do anything, has to go out and go back and heal. Mango still not letting them get away, however, and Giliara and Grishank hot on their heels. So still, they need to push this as far as they can.
Dingodile going to be looking for the stun here, but he's probably going to go down. Odin ultimate does come out, and that's just going to be a dead Dingodile. Sticker 40 UI as well is caught in the Odin cage, and that's going to be dead for both teams. Ghost Creeper is just going to have to disengage right now, and Mirage is totally gone.
Yeah, Mirage, go and do what you can. Yeah, you can't help in the team fight. Just take a back camp and go around the back end and then try to save this tower. There's 4 members of Risky Behavior here. Actually, 5 now, or 5. So you can't really do anything. Maybe they are the ones that need to try and hunker down at these Phoenixes and try to shut down Risky Behavior on this little momentous upswing.
Yep, and now it looks like Team Aces is just going to be wandering around. Gold Fury is down, so there's not really any objectives for them to take on their map besides their own jungle. Right now they're just going to be trying to find these little things to start swinging themselves back up. Taking a look at the graphs right now. An 8,000 XP difference is starting to flatten out a little bit as most people are hitting level 20. The 7,000 gold differences, though, where it's hitting a little hard is you can see a lot of Risky Behavior is still missing some items, while Team Aces is basically done with 5 and starting on 6.
Indeed, but that was exactly what Risky Behavior needed to stay relevant in the game. This game could have ended a lot quicker with Team Aces if Risky Behavior hadn't put up a fantastic fight like they had. So yeah, they let the other team get the Gold Fury. There wasn't or Gold Fury and the Fire Giant wasn't much they could do there. But when they came to bunker down at those Phoenixes and actually have that team fight, not only did they keep them out with the defense, but they chased them down and continued just nipping at their heels, making sure that they felt it. Now, Team Aces gonna group right around this camp. Gonna be in for a massive bait at this point. I don't know if Trueblade has any idea what he's about to get himself into.
Trueblade just got absolutely chunked. He's about to go down to Sticker 40 UI, but now in the back lane though, lots of damage going on to Grishank, and the Susano ultimate is coming out. Just trying to find some damage right now as Paul's going up in the air. He's going to try and find Grishank. Ghost Reaper does get ulted, but he will clean up Grishank. Giliara, though, taking a lot of damage. Ghost Reaper not quite able to trade. Trying to find it, trying to find the shots, trying to find the autos. Giliara does have to use the Sanctuary. He might go down here. Does get cleaned up by Man Ray, though. And now Ghost Reaper just trying to stay alive. Venue and Mango still just trying to defend, and that was a 3-for-0 trade in favor of Team Aces, and they're going to be looking straight at the Fire Giant.
Yep, go ahead and go down to that Fire Giant. Now, Ghost Creeper had to use the Sanctuary early, and then still, with a sliver of health, managed to still survive in the Odin cage, not giving Odin that count on his passive. Fire Giant going to fall relatively quickly, and nobody on Risky Behavior is going to be able to do anything about it. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Aces back, get an item, and then end this game before Risky Behavior can go ahead and pull whatever the heck they found within themselves to turn that around for that brief moment.
I think Aces have this Fire Giant now, so they need to be looking at these last towers. There's still a tier 2 up left in the duo lane, so they got to finish that up and then maybe sweep around, take the Phoenix in the duo lane, and go clean up the rest of the Phoenixes. However, Team Aces needs to not do what they did last time, which was stay under Phoenix for a little too long. That's really what threw the fight there. And, the moment Risky Behavior did catch him out, it was awkward. I mean, Team Aces basically got wiped. They got Fire Giant off of everyone but one. And now Team Aces is actually playing it pretty relaxed. They're going to clean up this Gold Fury just to be safe, ensure that Risky Behavior doesn't have any more objectives to take if, for example, they do get wiped. They're going to be looking towards this tier 2 tower in the left to try and do some damage. Probably just take it outright.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody wants to even attempt to fight it. Like you mentioned earlier, Risky Behavior needs to keep them under the Phoenixes as long as they can with those fights. And it is exactly true to word as what you had mentioned earlier. And that's how Risky Behavior were able to turn that around. But if they can do it again, that's going to be the impressive thing. I don't think Aces are going to be fooled twice. They're going to play a little bit safer, more than likely, to make sure they're not in there for too long. Risky Behavior are going to have to fight them and not within the Phoenix as long as it actually happens.
Yep. Cabrakan in mid lane for some reason. He's not grouped up with his team, but looks like he's heading over that way now as Aces are just kind of hovering around, maybe looking to try and start a fight, but again, they're still just waiting for Cabrakan to get there. We'll see what happens. Oh, Odin is here. He's going to jump away for now. The ward still in favor of Team Aces, so Cabrakan looks like he's about to join up, and now they're going to be starting the siege onto the Phoenix.
Yep, Dingadal at the head of this charge, more than likely, as they look for their opening. Gonna go ahead and get rid of this ward. Maybe just a dominance thing. That way they see where everybody is, how close people are. We have Dingadal blinking in, gonna get a 2-man mez on Trueblade and Vinny. And in the backline, Grishank taking a lot of damage, gonna be forced out already.
5-man cage!
Coming down, taking a lot of 5-man cage, as mentioned. Mango gonna be able to jump away, still having that ultimate on him from Khepri. But we have the Cabrakan looking really low. He's an easy target, but Man Ray coming through with the Grishank. But Grishank gonna be able to take him out, and then Ghost Creeper taking out Trueblade. But that is one Phoenix that has fallen. That is a 1-for-2 trade, still in favor of Team Aces. They're gonna keep going. Dingadal trying to root out Vinny, take out this heavy damage dealer for sure. Don't want that Scylla. Man Ray going through with the wall, gonna be able to finish him off, and Giliar forced back into the fountain. Now Mirage gonna make sure they stay there as the second Phoenix falls. I don't even know if they're gonna go for the third at this point. They're looking at that Titan.
Yeah, they just want to end outright. Ghost Creeper's still, he's sitting at about half health, so he's a little scared right now. Mango does drop the cage, trying to secure him in, but the Titan is still leashed to Dingodile here. They're just trying to end right now. Looks like it's going down 300 health, and it's dead. Team Aces takes game 2.
35 minutes, 30 seconds into the game, the third match, and the winner, the winning title, goes to Team Aces 18-7. In an explosive couple of matches up until this point, we've seen 1-for-1 trade, just 2 different teams in each set, and then Aces really bringing back that strong lead-in that we saw in the first game to finish out this tournament.
Look at the healing on that Raw. 21,000 healing. That is basically one character's damage just completely erased. That Man Ray did a really good job picking that Raw. It just seemed like Risky Behavior didn't really have an answer. They had the Odin, but it was just never effective, and Man Ray was doing a really good job of staying in the back, using his ultimate effectively, doing all kinds of damage. I mean, 21,000 damage is a respectable number by any means. Beat out most of the other team except for Venomu, and Ghost Creeper certainly picked up the slack with the 31,000 player damage.
Yeah, that was really his moment to shine. Ghost Creeper doing a fantastic job of zoning, coming in with that ultimate, and just flat out boxing with anybody Risky Behavior threw at him. He was 4-0-11. And going back to that Man Ray healing, after every engagement as a team, you'd see Man Ray throw that heal down and everybody just step into it. So I am not at all surprised at how high that number is. Really, I kind of think, although the Raw pick was something we don't see often, that it really came down to the sustainability that Man Ray was able to give the rest of the team when it got past that laning point, and it was really just about those team fights and getting a little inch ahead or getting that one kill. That's what it really came down to.
Oh yeah, definitely. And well, good games to both teams. But this is the end of the Challenger Cup, at least week 2 of the Challenger Cup. This was shoutouts to Tier Monster for putting on the Challenger Cup, and hi-rez for, of course, making Smite all that it is. Tiger, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me at Tiger Rises on Twitter. And where can they find you, Extreme?
You can find me at ExtremeMan25 on Twitter, Twitch, and all that nonsense. If you have any, go ahead.
I was going to say, it takes a village to make a tournament like this work. So shout outs to everybody that actually worked behind the scenes as well. Covertition, Opon, Lord WizKid, all of these people help make this a reality. So thank you for tuning in, and GG's to all the teams.
Yep, good games to everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out. We really do appreciate it. We love your faces, and we will see you next week.